What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, JP, Joe Pup. We are back in the motherfucking building. Hope everybody's having a great day. Wonderful afternoon. Whatever time of day you're watching this video, hope that you're lit. Hope you're in good spirits. And welcome back, man. Back with another playoff update. You know what I'm saying? We're finally in the semifinals of the NBA playoffs. You know what I'm saying? We got some great matchups. We had some fantastic series wrap up over the past weekend. You know what I'm saying? On top of all the rap beef that was going on, we just had a super crazy action-packed weekend of disses and dribbles, man. Dribbles, disses, and dunks. The 3Ds in life. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Leave a like, leave a share, leave a comment, all that good stuff, and let's go ahead, let's get into it. So we're going to start off today's discussion with the Knicks and the Pacers. So they kicked off their series last night in the Garden, and it was a super but the Knicks ended up pulling it out after a late rally there. I believe the Pacers had the lead for a majority of the game. Like every time that I was able to tune into the game, the Knicks had to battle back, or they were down 5 or they were down 7. And you know what I'm saying, surely but steadily, they ended up, getting back into the game. Jalen Brunson continues his amazing playoffs. He has 43 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 14 to 26 from the field, 14 to 14 from the line. Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart did their thing too. It's like their typical thing, their expected thing at this point. The Villanova Knicks are out here really balling. Dante with 25 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Josh Hart 24 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists. Josh Hart's stat line will never not amaze me. Like, to see this guy who's like 6'4", 6'5", consistently be putting up, 18 and 10, it's really the double-digit rebounds that gets me. Because if you watch the course of the game, like, the rebounds that he gets they're not just like, him standing by the rim on the defensive end and just getting a rebound. No, like, he's in there really battling, really, scrapping with players that are a lot bigger than him, scrapping with Miles Turner, scrapping with Obi Toppin, scrapping with, even his own teammates, Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, all those guys, he's really in there and he's battling, he's in there and he's batting balls out, just trying to get a hand on it, really just trying to keep the play alive by any means necessary. And I said this in the previous video, I'm going to say it again. Josh Hart, if you ever in your life want to just, sit down with my son, he's 2 years old, bro. 2 years old, he's got a moldable mind, he's ready to be crafted, and anytime, maybe it's like, because Josh Hart is the dude that I want my son to play like. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can be LeBron James. Everybody can't be Stephen Curry and Kobe Bryant and all that shit. No. But everybody can be a Josh Hart. Because all it takes is some of this. Some of this. Josh Hart has more double-digit rebounds from a player that is 6'5" than I thought was feasibly possible. And I think that in a series like this, where the Indiana Pacers' main thing is that they really want to just get the ball out, get the ball up the court, and just score as many points as they can, having somebody like Josh Hart that can really come in here and create second possessions for this Knicks team, it really just, like, I feel like the more cracks at the egg that this Knicks team gets against this Pacers defense, the better chance they're going to have to win. Like I was saying before, the Pacers, they had a good lead for a majority of this game, but for me personally, I just felt like, hey, if this is going to be a game where it's going to be back and forth, you get a bucket, I get a bucket, the Knicks are probably going to win that game, because down the stretch of a game, they can get a stop when necessary. You know what I'm saying? They're not, so solely based on, on their offensive scheme that they can't, slow down and lock you down for a possession or two. And it didn't take much. Like I put, like the Pacers, they scored, I believe it was 64 or 63 second half points in their own right, but they gave up 73 second half points. And that ended up being the difference in the game. So I think that going forward in the series, like that's going to be a big theme. Like I feel like it's going to be a very high scoring series. I think that this Knicks team has the ability to play. Having those 3 guys with Josh and Dante and Jalen, and even a couple of other guys, like even Miles and even OG, like those are players who have no problem with flying up and down the court and getting buckets when possible. But, and that very much plays into Indiana's game plan. But what Indiana really needs to do is be able to get consistent stops. You know what I'm saying? And at the States right now, they're having a very tough time on stopping Jalen Brunson, who I believe broke a record or joined a group where he became, I think it was like the 4th or 5th player to have 200 points in 3 playoff games. Like, he's playing out of his fucking mind, man. Like I said it previously, man. This is the best Knicks team that I've ever been alive for. And honestly, bro, I would not be surprised if this team made it to the conference finals. You know what I'm saying? They're playing against the Indiana team, who is a good story, but they're just not quite it. You know what I'm saying? Like earlier in the season, the Indiana Pacers, they had a lot of buzz. They had a lot of, you know what I'm saying, people were tuned into their games because they had this high-flying offense and they had this point guard in Tyrese Halliburton that was just, you know what I'm saying, really putting like I'm saying he was honestly embarrassing your favorite players and hitting the crazy threes and getting everybody involved, and it just seemed like a super fun, super jubilant environment to be in. And you know what I'm saying, it feels like they still have that in a lot of respects, but at the exact same time, I don't think that Halliburton's the exact same player that he has been over the course of the entire year. Like I know that he went through that injury. I believe it was like around like the All-Star break, or maybe a little bit before All-Star break, where it caused him to. He caused him to miss like I believe it was like a week or some change. Then he came back and he wasn't even. He still didn't look like himself when he came back, but it was all under the. He said it, I believe, in a podcast. I'm not sure. I think it was JJ's. He was saying like, I'm trying to hit that 65 game threshold, and ultimately, I feel like that's hampered him, and that's honestly going to be the main reason be able to overcome the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that they have a lot of gamers over there in Indiana. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Neesmith, Andrew Nemhard, Miles Turner. You know what I'm saying? Like they all play super tough. They have a rookie. I forgot. I'm blanking on the guy's name. A rookie who played a phenomenal role. Tyrese Halliburton being that guy who he was. Pascal has even been having super impressive playoffs. Without Tyrese Halliburton being that person that he was in the beginning of the season, I don't think that there's much of an opportunity for the Pacers to win this series. And on top of that, even if Tyrese Halliburton was playing his typical, you know what I'm saying, 20 and 10 a night that he was giving you in the beginning of the season, I still don't think that there's a world where Indiana is able to get enough stops to compete with this particular Knicks team. Like, I've been waiting for the Knicks Kibosh, the Knicks Black Magic to be happening this entire playoffs when it comes to this Knicks team. Like, they've won probably more close games than I've ever seen them win in any postseason. You know what I'm saying? Like, every game against Philadelphia came down to the wire. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you felt like the Knicks were going to throw the game away. Like, I'm going to just go ahead and make this announcement now before, you know what I'm saying, it snowballs into something bigger. Jalen Brunson has got to do a better job of holding the ball down the stretch of these games. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe the last couple games that he's played, I believe the last 3 games that he's played in, down the stretch of the game, he's made what could have been a fatal error that could have, you know what I'm saying, ultimately caused the team. Like, last night, they're trying to get the ball in, and he ended up just throwing the ball out of bounds and ends up being Pacer ball with a chance to win the game. Now, ultimately, the Pacers will end up getting a shot off to win the game. And let me just start off. Let me just say something about that really quick. I think that is probably the worst possible way to lose any basketball game. Like, worse than getting blown out, worse than, you know what I'm saying, you lose as a buzzer beater, worse than, you know what I'm saying, worse than a lot of things. There's nothing worse in basketball than you playing super tough. You get a defensive stop that gives your team an opportunity to get a guys do something dumb like step out of bounds, like get a 5-second call, like can't like turn the ball over on the inbound, like something like that where you don't even get a shot up. That's like the most. You can ask my friends. Whenever that always happens, I'm just like, damn, bro, they didn't even get a shot off. Like, that's the worst possible way to lose a basketball game in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? But Jalen Brunson got to do a better job of holding the ball down the stretch. Got to. You know what I'm saying? Josh Hart's already been having a couple of issues with knocking down clutch free throws. He's apparently great at knocking down clutch 3-pointers, but not having, you know what I'm saying, the greatest run when it comes to knocking down clutch free throws. Dante, I think he's been like the model of clutch gene-tivity over there in New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever you need Dante to make a play, it seems like more or less he's going to get it done for you. Like, this Knicks team is special, man. This Knicks team is special, and I personally don't think that the Pacers are going to have what it takes necessarily to beat them. They can definitely get a game. They can potentially even get 2 games, but I think that in the grand scheme of it, we're going to be looking at the Knicks going to the conference finals for the first time in my actual lifetime. Super exciting stuff. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say Knicks in 5. I'm going to say the Knicks are going to go ahead and wrap this up in 5. The Indiana Pacers probably win game 3 or 4 back in Indiana, or honestly, they could potentially even win game 2 in New York. But I think that the Knicks are going to dominate. Like once they get a full grasp on what the Pacers want to do in this series, I think that we're going to be looking at Knicks in 5 games, 6 games max. And on the other hand, the other game that took place last night, we had the Minnesota Timberwolves battling against the Denver Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? The Timberwolves coming off of sweeping the Phoenix Suns and, you know what I'm saying, making them look incredibly bad while doing it. And the Denver Nuggets, while they did not look the best coming into, you know what I'm saying, coming into this matchup, but they were able to knock out the Lakers in 5 games. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers played them super, super tough the entire time. But it just seems like the Lakers just don't have what it takes to compete with this Denver team. And you know what I'm saying? Going into this matchup against Minnesota, I believe that everybody, me included, was of the mind that we were going to get a super close, super competitive series where, you know what I'm saying, we had the defending champs and they're going to have to be beaten by this Timberwolves team in order for them to end up losing this series. You know what I'm saying? I believe they're favored coming into the series. And through 2 games, we have seen nothing of what we thought we were going to expect. We have seen 2 absolute blowouts. You know what I'm saying? Game 1, Ant comes out. He gives you 40-plus point. Cat is proving to be a super, super X factor in this series. And I stated it before in the preview after the Sun series. Cat being a second option he's one of the most dangerous second options in the entire sport. His ability to score from basically anywhere on the court. His ability to defend, especially with the help that he has behind him in Naz Reid and in Rudy Gobert and in Jaden McDaniels, like that all just like exudes more confidence in Cat and gives him the, you know what I'm saying, the confidence to go out there and just play his game. And playing his game is more than enough. Like it's never been a fact that nobody felt like Karl-Anthony Towns was talented enough to be a good basketball player. You just weren't sure if you would ever be able to put the complementary pieces around him to make him, you know what I'm saying, a complementary to winning basketball. And you give him Anthony Edwards, who kind of like takes the leadership away from him. And, you know what I'm saying, it makes it just like, hey, Cat, just play your game. We're uplifting you. We're with you. And you have Rudy, who supports him on the backside and the defense. You're looking at probably the most dangerous version of Karl-Anthony Towns we potentially may ever get. You know what I'm saying? Even after the injuries. You know what I'm saying? He had the injury last year, had the injury this year. Whenever he comes back and he's healthy, he just fits in that role so perfectly. You know what I'm saying? So Cat's coming out, he gives you 20 plus in that game 1. He also gives you 20, I believe it was 20 plus last night. Rudy Gobert actually misses a game, but we're talking about that game 1. But in that game 1, the Timberwolves came out and they really set the tone that the Nuggets guards, the Nuggets wings in particular, their wing players, they were going to have to fight for their honest-to-God lives if they were going to be a factor in this series. And through the first 2 games in the series, their wing players have not been a factor. Michael Porter Jr., after coming off that crazy series against the Lakers, he hasn't been much of the player that we saw in that he has not been the player that we thought we would see coming into that second round. And KCP has been a complete no-show. I think that last night, I believe he only had 2 points. He had a 2-point jumper in the third quarter when they were already getting beat by like almost 30. So the Wolves did a great job at eliminating that. And I think that better than any other team probably in the playoffs remaining, even better than the Celtics, the Timberwolves have a team that can match up with the Nuggets' 2 best players better than anybody in the entire NBA. You know what I'm saying? They have Jaden McDaniels and Nikola Alexander-Walker have been giving Jamal Murray absolute fits through the first 2 games. You know what I'm saying? And it's resulted in Jamal Murray getting like out of his character. You know what I'm saying? Like he probably did not expect after, you know what I'm saying, the tough way how D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves guarded him last round. He probably thought that we probably all expected that he would get into a flow, into a rhythm of the game a little bit better in round 2, but he has not even been able to be a factor in these games. Like they take Jamal Murray out so early and they put so much pressure on Jokic that it causes Jokic to even crack. You know what I'm saying? Through 2 games, Jamal Murray has scored 2 points in the first half. 2 points. And that's not just him getting to his spot and missing shots. He's not even able to get to his spot. He's not even able to dribble the ball up the court without having somebody in his chest, making him turn every which way. It's phenomenal defense that you really don't expect to see at this level. You know what I'm saying? You don't expect to see full court turning somebody around this many times at the NBA level because everybody has the ability to shoot and everybody has the ability to dribble and to break a press so easily. But when you have the defensive demons that is Jaden McDaniels and Nikola Alexander-Walker, you end up with a situation where Jamal Murray is shooting 38% through the entire. He's shooting 38% for the playoffs. Hang on, what's he doing for the entire series? I actually had that here. Jamal Murray is shooting 38% for the entire playoffs. He's shooting terrible for the first two games of this series. I guess I didn't write the number down, but and like I said, it puts a lot more pressure and a lot more onus on Nikola Jokic to become an offensive scoring threat. And as we've seen him improve, he has the ability to do that, but that's not really the role that he wants to play, and that's not really the role that the Nuggets really need him to play in order for them to be successful. They need him to be able to create shots for other people. They need him to be able to throw that lob pass over the top to Aaron Gordon 3 times a game for easy buck, just to keep the offense confident, to keep the offense flowing. And through the first two games, I didn't see it much last night. I definitely didn't see it a lot in the first game. Their favorite play where they get the ball to Jokic on the elbow and then they throw the lob pass to Aaron Gordon, that play has been absolutely taken away. Multiple times I saw Rudy Gobert just standing in the lane and just swat the ball out the way. Something that seems so simple, but like it's an impossible play to stop because of how much attention that Jokic draws. But then you just have the athletic freak that is Aaron Gordon, and the only thing that really can offset that is another freak that is Rudy Gobert. You know what I'm saying? Him just being 7'4" and being able to just swat the ball from any different angle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's looking really, really bad for this Denver Nuggets team. Speaking of matching up with the Nuggets, the person who I feel like is honestly having the biggest impact in the series so far, and that is Naz Reid. So Naz Reid in these first two games, he's really shown that like there could potentially be a little bit of a cone effect going on with Jokic on that defensive end. Like in the first round of the playoffs, you see it happen with Anthony Davis, and you're like, hey man, Anthony Davis is just a super talented, super skilled big. Like if he gets on a roll, like there's no reason to be surprised where he rattles off 30, 35, 40 points for you, right? But in these first two games, Naz Reid has consistently really made Jokic look really, like I said, like a cone. Like in the pick and pop game, whenever Jokic is put into the pick and roll, and Naz Reid is the roll man, he fades out to that 3-point line. He's not able to get out there fast enough to contest that, and Naz Reid is shooting the goddamn lights out of the ball right now. Naz Reid is able to dribble around Jokic. You know what I'm saying? He has the height also to compete with him on the defensive end. The amount of times where I've seen Jokic go up for a shot and that Naz Reid is able to block it before, you know what I'm saying, he's able to get the ball up past his shoulders, it's like it's had you thinking like, holy shit, there could potentially be something there that the Nuggets aren't able to, you know what I'm saying, they're not really expect a team to be able to shut down the offensive beacon that is Nikola Jokic. You think that even if they're more athletic, even if they have, he's still able to get his shot up. But through two games in this series, like he had the big scoring output in the first game. That didn't feel like a Nikola Jokic kind of game though. It didn't feel like a game where he had his hands all over the game. It felt like he was honestly getting blocked a lot and then putting back a lot of shots. You know what I'm saying? And it was more of that last night. So like I gotta give Naz Reid his credit. He's been playing like an absolute monster, very, very deserving of that 6th Man of the Year award. And really it has me confused and like had me thinking like, why is it that we were so quick and easy to discredit this Timberwolves team for being young, but we expected the Lakers to come out and to beat them? We expected a Lakers team to potentially have the ability to come out and defeat a team that was the first seed in the West for majority of the season. You know what I'm saying? Like up until that cat injury, the Minnesota Timberwolves were the 1 seed in the West. You know what I'm saying? It was marginal. It was standings, you know what I'm saying, that top 3. But Minnesota, for a good portion of the series, was entrenched in that first seed. Then Cat goes down, they lose a couple games, and then Ant steps back into his own. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why they're not the 1 seed now is because they lose in that last game of the season. They end up being the 3 seed. But low-key, that could potentially been the best possible route for them. You know what I'm saying? They're able to dipped their toe into the playoffs waters with a Phoenix team that really did not have the ability to match up with them. Like outside of the three names with Book, KD, and Bradley Beal, I feel like it was a mismatch in every other position on the court. And even coming into this into the second round, they're matching up with a team that they are built to beat, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody knows about Tim Conley. I believe he's the GM of the Timberwolves now. He used to be the ex-GM over there in Denver. He actually helped build that Denver team to who they are now. I believe he drafted Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. He got brings in KCP in free agency. And then, you know what I'm saying, he builds this team up, and then he gets offered from Minnesota. He goes over to Minnesota, and he goes and he's like, hey, you know what? I think that team that I built over there in Denver is really, really talented, super talented, going to be scary for the years to come. I should probably make somebody that's going to be able to beat them. And he goes and he does that in Minnesota, and you have like it seems like this championship team, the Denver Nuggets, they're outmatched in almost every position on the court. The Timberwolves have a player that is of equal value or better on the court. You know what I'm saying? Like Nikola Jokic, you know what I'm saying? He's far and away the best player in the series. You know what I'm saying? Best player in the world. There's a world where you can say that the combination of Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns is equal to them. You know what I'm saying? He's equal to the ability that a Nikola Jokic has on the offensive end. You know what I'm saying? And then, not for nothing, even with the defensive end, you could say that Kat and Rudy are better than Jokic. You know what I'm saying? A combination of those two. Let's look at Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is a star in his role. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to put his comp up there with Mike Conley. I'm going to put his comp up there with Anthony Edwards. You can argue that Anthony Edwards and Jamal Murray at this stage in their career, they're on the same level. Jamal might be a little bit better, or Ant might be. If you look at the auxiliary pieces, it's essentially all Timberwolves. You know what I'm saying? If you look at Michael Porter Jr. or Jaden McDaniels, I'll probably give it to Jaden McDaniels. You know what I'm saying? His offense is not quite where Michael Porter Jr.'s is, but his defense is years beyond Michael Porter Jr. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Gordon is really a star in his role. You know what I'm saying? He's really a star in what he's able to do off of Jokic. You know what I'm saying? And Karl Anthony Towns, he's able to compete with Aaron Gordon because he's a star in his role. You know what I'm saying? Him being able to, the shots he's able to get off of Anthony Edwards, and you know what I'm saying, the gravity of Rudy Gobert for lob threats down there, like, it just makes the game easier for Cat. So you have to say that's either a wash or a check in Timberwolves' direction. And you know what I'm saying? KCP and Mike Conley, they're basically the same dude. Do things a little bit differently, but they're just kind of good complementary pieces that are good for winning. Just like the Timberwolves are that team, man. They are that fucking team, man. And it's going to be super tough for somebody to knock them down. All right, so I know this was kind of like a weird kind of shoved in part of the video, but I had to talk about Nasrid. I had to talk about this Timberwolves, their ability to guard Jokic and everything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take you guys back to the original video. Peace. Holla at you. You know what I'm saying? For a team who wasn't playing great, they picked a bad time to run into a Minnesota Timberwolves team that is ready to step into it and claim ownership of the Western Conference. Like, once the Timberwolves complete this win of this series, and you have to think that they're going to win this series at this point. Once they finish this series, they have a matchup against either Dallas or Oklahoma City, and then they're almost in the finals. You know what I'm saying? They're a round away from the finals after defeating the defending champs and sweeping the Phoenix Suns, a team that a lot of other people thought that could potentially be in the finals this year, or in the conference finals. Like, it just makes you have to think, like, are we potentially, like, having another change of guard here in the Western Conference, and now we're going to have a dynastic kind of a Timberwolves run? Like, it's on the table. You got to think it's on the table. You know what I'm saying? It's really mind-blowing. Can't lie to you. Like, I don't think that anybody expected the Wolves to be coming out and to be beating the dog shit out of the Nuggets like this. Jokic just looked like he's outmatched. So it's like he's like out of it. Like, in that last game against the Lakers, you kind of saw him like just start kind of having some really like weird wacky turnovers, and you would thought that was just kind of a one game thing, but no. Even in this series, he's just been doing questionable things, kind of playing like he's like he wants to go back to Serbia. He playing like he wants to go back home, and at this point, if they don't turn it around soon, there's a very good possibility that they are back home. You know what I'm saying? That their series does end by the end of the week. So I guess that's really all we got for the Wolves and the Wolves and the Nuggets. I'm not gonna actually make a prediction for this series only because we're already 2 games in, and I feel like that's kind of cheating. But yeah, man. So that's all we got for these two matchups. We're gonna talk about the 2 matches that haven't started yet. That actually start tonight. Tonight in the next video, so you guys be on the lookout for that. But make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and let me know who you guys think is going to win. Any chance in the world that the Denver Nuggets can even remotely make this a series against Minnesota? All right, peace and love, family. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Deuces.